Furiously Happy by Jenny Lawson, Chapter 24. Chapter 23 was a long one. That's why I had to put it in two parts, my friends. But if you got a kick out of the koalas and chlamydia, you're going to get a kick out of this one. Chapter 24. This one is entitled Voodoo Vagina. And some of these chapters I pre-read, so I kind of read chapters twice. So essentially I'm reading the book twice. But anywho, I'm trying to get better at this whole reading thing and not sound like such a kindergartner. Anyway, here we go. Chapter 24, Voodoo Vagina. Last week, my friend, Kim, mailed me one of her homemade educational felted vaginas with a small felted baby inside of it so children can understand where babies come from. My first thought was that I no longer want to understand where babies come from. My second thought was, wait, is this pubic hair real? Because if it is, I think I need to go wash my hands. Also, isn't that how voodoo dolls are made? I think if you add human hair to a doll, it becomes a voodoo doll. So logically, wouldn't that make this a voodoo vagina? What is even happening here? Pages are sticking together. I don't know why. Please don't ask questions. I left the vagina on my desk while I went to get my camera to take a picture of it because no one would ever believe I had gotten a voodoo vagina in the mail and they'd all be like, "Pixar, it didn't happen." But when I got back to my desk, my vagina was missing. I mean, not my vagina, the gifted vagina. Not that my vagina isn't gifted. It's fine. This isn't a contest. I was instantly reminded of a story I heard when I was little about a severed human hand that came to life and gave you wishes that murdered people while doing it. Thinking about this is a little kind of off topic, but didn't The Simpsons have like a little monkey hand that gave Homer 3 wishes? Anyway, it's spooky season, so I always thought there could be nothing creepier than a severed hand running around the neighborhood murdering people until I was faced with the notion that a lone voodoo vagina was skittering around my house, except that the vagina was oval-shaped and had no fingers, so it would have to roll, I guess, which made it slightly less creepy, but only slightly. Then I remembered that Haley was home, and I didn't want her to find a random voodoo vagina lying in wait because I'm a good mother. So I had to ask Victor for help. Remember, Victor is her husband. Because someone sent me a vagina in the mail, but it wandered off when I went to go get the camera and might be on a murderous rampage now. He assumed I'd been drinking, but probably just because he knows how hard it is for me to ask for help. I clarified it was for arts and crafts vagina, designed to show how babies are born, but that I think it did have a real pubic hair in it, and that's why it probably came to life and ran away before I could photograph my friend's vagina. Then Victor shook his head, but instead of shutting his door, he came out and helped me go vagina hunting, because honestly, when else are you going to have the opportunity to do that? 15 minutes later, we discovered the missing vagina halfway up the stairs, where the cat was chewing on it. I was a little grossed out, but more just concerned about my friend, because if it was a voodoo vagina, she'd probably just fallen crotch first into a chipper shredder. I had a closer look and realized it was that plastic doll hair you can buy bags from in craft stores, and I felt a bit relieved. But Victor said I couldn't keep the vagina even if it wasn't made from pubic hair. This seemed like a waste of perfectly good vagina, but I noticed that the cat had really torn it up quite a bit, and I had gnawed off the felt baby's head, and so I figured it was a lost cause. There's actually a picture. I'll try and post that up here for you. I was worried that the cat had eaten the baby's head and could have a digestive block. But then later we found the head in the toilet. It wasn't really a surprise because the cat loves to carry small things around and then drop them in the toilet. Cat toys, Polly Pockets, Barbie doll head, lipsticks, they all end up in the toilet if you don't keep the lid on it shut. It's like her own personal wishing well. I have no idea what the hell she thought she was going to get in return for a baby's head she'd ripped off a vagina, but regardless, she seemed optimistic and muled, sweetly rubbing against my legs as I peered down into the toilet. I flushed, delivering her small sacrifice to whatever toilet god she was praying to. God knows what she wished for, probably more felt vaginas. P.S. For some reason, people seem to leave this chapter with more questions than they had before they started. So let me reiterate that Kim makes these felt baby-filled vaginas as an educational tool for young children. She calls them beaver babies, and they now feature new and improved pubic hair. You can also use them as really gross wallets if you want people to never steal your change from you. PPS. I didn't make a single pussy joke in this chapter. Someone get me a damn medal. That's the end of the chapter, my friends. I wasted, I don't know if I wasted. You might have found that humorous. But I took up, we're closing in on 7 minutes of your time. Thank you for listening. I appreciate you very, very much. Also, I want to throw a shout out to a young lady or a lady. If I pronounce your name wrong, I apologize. Sarah Hesterly. She has been listening to me read these books. Sarah, I just wanted to say thank you very much. I appreciate your comments. I appreciate you listening. And I hope you enjoyed this chapter as much as I did. I hope everybody enjoyed this chapter as much as I did. Anyway, that was chapter 24, Voodoo Vagina, Furiously Happy by Jenny Lawson. I will see you guys next time for chapter 25.